Welcome back, folks. It is 5:10 on this wonderful Wednesday evening. I'm Josephine Sage. Let's jump right into the forecast. Right now, as we take a look outside at America's Mattress Live Tower Cam, we're looking east, and we've got these beautiful blue skies that are going to continue with us throughout this evening, staying clear, and even into Thursday, we're going to have sunshine all throughout those daytime hours. But come those late evening hours and into Friday, we've got a little bit of a shift in weather as a high and low pressure system kind of, fight in those upper atmosphere levels to bring in some southern flow. So before that happens, we've got lots of sunshine and dry air, but those showers are going to be expected through the end of the work week, through the weekend, and even into Monday and Tuesday. If we take a look further out, this is that high and low pressure system I'm chatting about that are fighting in that upper atmosphere, and it's going to shift that flow to bring in some monsoonal moisture potential essentially into tomorrow evening, where the best chance for some heavy rain with some flooding possible is going to be through that Four Corners region and essentially through that Utah and Colorado border, pushing on up towards that Rangeley area, and as well as through Albuquerque and some of those areas in Phoenix with that increasing monsoonal moisture, on that western edge of that high pressure system, while that low pressure still kind of circles west of Phoenix. And if we take a look here, that high ridge is starting to amplify right now as it moves across the plains, and our flow is certainly switching up into that southerly flow to bring it up towards us on the western slope. I chatted about this yesterday, but this is where it kind of comes from, around that Gulf of Mexico, that Texas area. So a lot of that kind of goes through the East Coast area, but we're focusing more on this flow line up through, Texas and those southern states. But before I get into kind of how severe that storm is going to be, I want to chat about our pollen potential. We're still very similar to what we were looking at yesterday. Tree pollen season is done. We don't have any grasses. We've got some really high weed pollens hanging on out and some moderate mold in terms of those irritations hanging on out. So if you're sensitive to those, definitely try and stay inside. But they are going to vary a little bit because our wind speeds are getting a little bit more than what we're used to. Right now we're at 14 miles an hour in Grand Junction, 15 miles an hour in Moab, 6 in Montrose, and some of those mountain areas, especially north of I-70, could vary up to 25 and even 35 miles an hour in the next 24 hours due to some warm air advection. And it is pretty warm outside, feeling in those upper 90s in Grand Junction right now at 98, 97 in Moab. Montrose feeling 90 degrees. And as we look into those mountain areas, we're hanging out in those low to upper 80s. Our almanac will show us we're actually pushing a few degrees above what we're typically used to, high end of things, and on that low end hanging out at 64 instead of that typical 58. I still have Milo hanging out with me all week this week for the dog walking forecast. We'll notice those peak temperatures are going to happen between 2 and 3 p.m. And please feel free to send me a photo of your pup at jsage@krixtv.com. I want to remind you, even though we're expecting these rounds and rounds of showers to come on in, we are still in a drought, and with those higher wind speeds, that fire danger is critical for at least the next couple of days until that monsoonal moisture rolls on in, where we've got a chance for about ½ an inch of accumulation every round of storms that comes on in, and those are going to be quite widespread as we jump into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Montrose, same kind of trend. Few degrees cooler, with Monday being one of the coolest days that we've seen this summer, at 78 for the afternoon high, and even reaching 51 for that low in the early work week.